All right, y'all. This is our second take. This one's one we're going to go with. So today we're looking at the influences of the American government. As you can see, I have bobblehead Jefferson, John Hancock. We're going to be looking at why the U.S. finally declared war or declared independence from Britain. So we're looking at what are some of the key ideas, the key people, the key influences that made America want to rebel. Yesterday we talked about some of the events which angered the colonists. Now let's look at what events or people influenced them to create their new government, the new Declaration of Independence, our democracy. So the first person we're going to look at is John Locke. You see John Locke on here. He looks a little old, but he's really influential. John Locke was the first person to write about the nature of government. He really was the influence to finding out what the government should consist of, how the government should run. John Locke decided that the rights of the people, we should have our certain rights: life, liberty, and property. Now, I know what you're saying, kids. You don't have the right to, liberty in the classroom. Sorry, we're not a democracy. We're a dictatorship. But for the American government, we were wanting our inalienable rights. We wanted to have life, liberty, and property. And the only way to do this was to create a country which allowed people to vote and create their government and pick their leaders. Because without that, leaders are appointed. They don't care what we think or what we want. The next guy we're going to talk about is good old George Mason. His writings really influenced our new government, how the new government structure was created. Our new government had separation of powers. We wanted to have an executive branch, a legislative branch, and a judicial branch based upon the teachings of George Mason. He believed that the government needed to have its power restricted. We needed to make sure that the government protected the people's rights. It didn't have enough power to take over whatever rights the people wanted. So what he wanted and what he influenced our Declaration of Independence was the need, the desire for the Bill of Rights, so that people had the right to have free speech, right to bear arms, right to do the necessary things to have a good life, to be able to pursue life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. All right, next up is the Declaration of Independence 1.0. This is the Magna Carta. It's basically the British version of the Constitution, British version Declaration of Independence. But, America's better, so that's why I had to make it better. So the Magna Carta, basically what it said is it limited the power of king and guaranteed the right of a trial by jury. So the Magna Carta did for the British, which said, all right, king still rules you, we still have the power, you wonderful little peasants, but we'll let you, if you ever get in trouble, we'll let you be governed and ruled by your own people, deciding on what your fate's going to be. And I'll give away some of my power as a king. The Americans looked like that and laughed. We're like, really? Come on. That's not doing enough. So it influenced the American Declaration of Independence by showing us we needed to take that next step. Not only do we need to guarantee trial by jury, but do we need to guarantee that the power is not going to be in the king's hand, even if it's limited, but the power is going to be in the people's hand. Next up is the English Bill of Rights. And again, it's our Bill of Rights 1.0. It called for frequent elections. It guarantees the rights to bear arms, forbade cruel and unusual punishment, and continued to enforce trial by jury. But then again, that's really, really basic. That's not like we have today in America. We have tons of bills of rights. We have tons of different rights for individual people. There's only one Bill of Rights, excuse me. We have lots and lots of rights here in America compared to the English Bill of Rights. So the founding fathers looked at that and laughed and said, that's cute. And they created, after the Constitution, the initial American Bill of Rights. The initial American Bill of Rights had 10 amendments. We're actually going to act an activity where we're going to go over the 10 Bill of Rights with you. We're going to act a little goofy, but that'll be probably in 2 weeks or 4 weeks. Finally, we're going to get to the head honcho, number one, big kahuna, the big dog document of all of these. And that's the American Declaration of Independence. And why this is important is we actually look at this document being the basis for all other democracies that will develop in the entire world after this. The writing of this declaration was influenced by the founding fathers. Not only them, but all those past people who have influenced the English Bill of Rights and the Magna Carta. But this document basically said, look, we've had enough of your government oppressing us here in America. We're tired of it. We want a government by the people, for the people. It has to consist of people's rights, and there have to be a guarantee of inalienable rights for all men. Life, liberty, and property. Now, there are some backlashes, which we're going to talk about. One of the main issues of this course. The major thing is to figure out who is considered a person, who is a man. And we're going to learn at this course. Is a man only rich white person? Is a man also African Americans? Do women consist of men? Who are all men? That's a central issue that is going to be so large we can't address in this presentation nor any presentations. It's a large question we're going to look at through the entire course. All right, guys, like I promised, it's going to be real short and sweet, but keep this up, keep working. We're going to get these notes down, and we're going to have a game on Friday. All right? All right, stay classy.